Welcome back to episode 2 of the series. The title for this episode is Why AI Sounds Generic for Most Women and How to Fix It. AI doesn't sound generic because it's basic. We don't want as women, we don't want any basic things happening around here. It sounds generic because it's being fed generic thinking. And I want you to let that sit with you a little bit. It sounds generic or it sounds basic because that's the information that it's being given. So how do we stop that from happening? Here's what most people won't tell you. AI doesn't generate originality on its own. I'm gonna say it again. AI doesn't generate originality on its own. It organizes your thinking faster, okay? It organizes your thinking faster. So when women say, AI makes me sound like everybody else, because I've heard that literally. If I use AI, I'm doing everything else. If I put this prompt into ChatGPT, it's gonna spit out and give me what everybody else is doing in the industry right now. What they're really noticing is that there is a lack of clarity, not a lack of creativity. It's a lack of clarity. Most women are asking AI to perform before they've asked themselves to decide. I'm gonna say it again. Most female entrepreneurs, women, CEO bosses, are asking AI to perform before they've asked themselves to decide. So here's the 3 things I want you to decide about, and I want you to write them down. Number 1, decide what you stand for. Decide what your business stand for. Decide what your products stand for. Decide what you stand for. You need to develop what your business is all over again. And some of us have been in business so long that we have to restructure and reorganize our business and get back to understanding why we're in business. If we're pivoting and we're going for another product, another industry, you have to reframe your vision, your mission, your core values. You have to refresh all of that. And guess what? If you're going to implement AI strategies, this is a great time to do it. The second thing I want you to decide is who you're speaking to. It has taken me a very long time. To understand that you can't talk to everybody at the same time. You're not talking to everyone. So you have to decide who you're speaking to, and you need to get crystal clear in who your audience is. Who are you speaking to first? Because you cannot speak to everybody. That is a very tough one, especially for female entrepreneurs. Why? Because we think that our product is so good, and you should think that way. You think that your service is so good, you should think that way, but you can't market it to everybody at the same time. Because we want it to fit everyone. Everybody should love my clothing. Everybody should love my shoes. Everybody should love my hair. Everybody should love my makeup. You have to get really clear and decide on who you're speaking to. When I chose to do AI, I wanted to speak to everyone. I wanted to speak to women 50 and over. I wanted to speak to women who were just starting out new businesses, no matter who the age range was. I wanted to speak to men. I wanted to speak to everybody. Decide who you're speaking to. I've narrowed it down to exactly who I wanted to speak to, and I'm speaking to you right now. And number 3, decide what problem you're actually going to solve. And this may sound really, really, really basic because you started a business to get into an industry, to provide a product or service, to solve something. But if you are an older business, you weren't taught to do that. You weren't taught to figure out how to solve a problem. You were just taught to start a business. I wanted to start a business, let's say when the beauty industry broke. I wanted to start a business in the beauty industry because it was the biggest industry and I wanted my cut. That's natural entrepreneurial instincts. But now with the game changing, the landscape changing, the resources are readily available. There's so much more. You have to decide what problem you're going to solve specifically and while you're building. I'm not saying that you can't get to that point. We all can get to that point because it's called scaling your business. What I'm saying is you have to decide one problem right now, one audience right now, and develop a business around that and then scale from there. When those things are fuzzy, what happens is AI fills in the gap, but with average response, average research, average information. You haven't given it enough because you're unclear on what you're doing. So what happens is that average information that pops out is going to be generic. And it's going to sound generic. And if you take that generic information and make it your voice, you now have generic. Everything now sounds generic and your whole business feels generic. And then it takes you back into that whole fear again of not wanting to implement AI because it's not working, because you have not given it and you haven't done the core work needed to get it done. Honestly, it takes a minute. I'm telling you, this is tough, which is why I'm making this video series, because I literally went through it. So the fix is not better prompts. So I want to give you two things. I'm going to give you two points that I really want you to understand. Number one, the fix is not in the prompts. You can buy prompts. You can choose to join and buy these $17 150 prompts that'll change your life in marketing off of ads. You can get as many prompts as you want. Prompts are not going to fix it if you don't know the information to put in the prompt, because you have not developed your core, right? So if you haven't developed and done those 3 decisions, at minimum, there's more than 3, but at those three minimally, your prompts are going to sound generic. If you say act as a let's say the act as, because the favorite prompts right now are the act as. If you say act as a marketing specialist and develop a 30-day Pinterest strategy for my business that sells hair. Okay. Hair is a good industry. Here's 30 days in Pinterest, what you should do. Here's what the visual should look like. You haven't given it the target audience. You haven't given it the tone. And you haven't given it, honestly, the problem that you're going to fix. Is the hair to build confidence? That is important. Is the hair for, let's say, for instance, you want to do hair, because I've seen this before. I thought this was such a great idea. But people who build hair for cancer patients. Like, I get that you're like, well, people just buy hair because they buy hair. What problem is it going to solve? It's got to be something in a woman's life. Think about what happens in a woman's life that is going to make them want to buy extra hair, right? So suppose it is a transition. I'll give you me. I'll put myself on the table. My hair has transitioned from age 49 to 50. I had a complete transition of hair, which was very unexpected. I didn't realize it, but my hair literally transitioned. And so now that it's in what I consider an in-between phase, I could consider ordering hair in the summer because my hair is natural and so it'll poof up. So I have to figure out what my summer hair looks like. That is the time for me as a woman to buy hair. So again, there is a problem that I'm solving. You're solving people with natural hair for the summer hot months. Okay? That's my problem I'm solving right now. I just want to give you some context. So the second thing is the fix is stronger thinking. So the fix isn't generic prompts. The fix is stronger thinking. Once your message is clear, AI stops sounding generic. Scratch that. Let me say it again. Once your message is clear, AI stops sounding robotic and starts sounding refined. That is what you want. Okay, so in the next episode, I'm going to break down the number one mistake that female entrepreneurs make when using AI and why it keeps them stuck. I'll see you guys in the next one.